My name is Karen. I'm 52 years old. And a year ago, I walked away from my husband of 25 years for what I believed was a real man. Now I sit alone in a tiny apartment I can barely afford, eating dinner by myself. My children ignore my calls. And the man I left everything for? He took my pride with him when he walked out. I have no one to blame but myself. Like most bad choices, it didn't happen in a single moment. Lives don't collapse overnight. They unravel slowly, disguised as freedom, disguised as self-discovery, disguised as the illusion that you deserve more. My husband, David, was steady, dependable, the kind of man who showed love by making sure my car was safe to drive or double-checking the locks before bed. He wasn't spontaneous. He wasn't thrilling. And eventually, that became the excuse I clung to. After 25 years of routine, comfort started to feel like a cage. I told myself I needed passion, sparks, fire, something more. That's when Ryan entered my life. 8 years younger, confident, charming in all the ways David never was. He made me feel noticed again, beautiful again. We met at a marketing conference. Before he even knew my name, he called me gorgeous and said I didn't look old enough to have been married for 25 years. I should have walked away. Instead, I smiled and I stayed. What began as coffee turned into texts. Texts turned into secrets. And eventually, into the lie I told myself. Maybe this is the love I was meant for. When I told David I was leaving, he didn't shout. He didn't beg. He just stood there, eyes filled with tears, staring at me like I was a stranger. He said only one thing. After all these years, you'd throw us away for a stranger? I told him yes. I told him I wanted to feel alive, that I needed something real. He didn't argue. He just nodded and packed a bag. The kids took it harder. My son, Ethan, didn't speak to me for a week. My daughter, Rachel, called me selfish. She said I had destroyed her belief in marriage. But I brushed it off. I told myself they'd understand once they saw me happy. I moved in with Ryan. His place was small but stylish. He lit candles, played jazz, told me he loved me after just 2 weeks. For a short time, I felt reborn, free, desired, until the cracks began to show. He got irritated when I texted my kids, said I talked about David too much, complained about my work hours, told me he missed me too much when I wasn't home. At first, I mistook it for passion. Soon I saw it for what it really was, control. He drank more than I realized. His temper was sharp. One night, I made a joke about his job, and he hurled a glass at the wall. He didn't touch me. But that night, something inside me broke. The illusion was gone. I realized the man I had given everything up for wasn't strong, wasn't real. He was just different. And different doesn't always mean better. If you're still reading, type 25 in the comments. Because this is where everything collapsed. 3 months in, Ryan lost his job. Suddenly, I was paying for everything: groceries, rent, the bills. He borrowed my car constantly. Disappeared at night. When I asked where he'd been, he called me paranoid. Said I was acting like a boring old wife again. That's when I understood. He never loved me. He loved what I represented, an escape. Just like I thought I loved him, when in reality, I was trying to escape myself. The day he left, I came home to an empty apartment. No note, no call, just silence. My car keys and laptop were gone. I reported it to the police. But deep down, I knew he was never mine. He was just a shadow of something I thought I wanted. I reached out to my kids. Ethan, can we talk? His reply hit like a punch to the chest. Talk to Dad. He's the one who deserves your time. I called Rachel. Straight to voicemail. I left a shaky message, sobbing, apologizing, rambling about how I'd made a mistake. She never called back. Finally, I called David. Not to beg. Not to rebuild. Just to say I was sorry. He answered, softly. I poured everything out. How wrong I'd been. How much I missed the simple things. How deeply I regretted it all. His voice was calm, but distant. I'm glad you realized that, Karen, he said. But I don't think I can open that door again. And I understood. Because sometimes there are no second chances. Sometimes the damage is the ending. Now I live in a one-bedroom apartment. I go to work. I come home. I heat up frozen dinners. And I sit with the weight of everything I destroyed. Not just a husband. Not just a marriage. But a family. A home. A life. I traded stability for fantasy. Love for lust. Depth for surface. And now, all I have left is regret. So, if you're listening, and you think the grass looks greener, remember, sometimes the grass is fake. Sometimes it's turf stretched over a trap. And by the time you realize it, the gate has already locked behind you. Water the grass you have. Treasure the love that endures. Because chasing more can leave you with nothing. Nothing but silence. On the other end of the phone, if this story touched you, type 25 in the comments. And share what you would never risk for false love. And if you still believe in real love, the kind that stays, the kind that fights through the hard days, don't ever let it slip away.